It's been almost exactly 4 years since I purchased my red Model Y. And when I bought that car, it had a range of 320 miles. But something that I've been noticing over time is that maximum number keeps dropping. And lately, the number has dropped as low as 280 miles. So are you telling me that I lost 40 miles of range in my car over the last 4 years? That seems like a lot to me. So I went on a little quest to try to figure out, is this bad, is it normal, or what it is? But in order to do that, you have to first figure out, how do I test it? Well, the first thing that I did is I went out and I started using some third-party apps. And one of the apps that I use is the Sexy Buttons app, and it tells me that I have a degradation of a substantial amount, which I'll get to later. So I'm wondering, is this normal? Is there anything I can do about it? Well, as it turns out, Teslas have something called a battery management system that is supposed to keep track of the health of your cells and keep things metered and everything topped off. But I'm being told that that battery management system can and needs to be reset from time to time. So I'm going to take you through all of those tests, show you how it works, show you the results, and we can decide together whether or not resetting or testing your battery management system has any impact on your overall range. Stick around, it's going to be fun. I'm kind of flying blind here a little bit. The Sexy app is reporting that I have a 13.5% degradation in my battery, and comments online are saying I have to reset the BMS, which is the battery management system. Everything that I found has said that you need to be under 10% and it needs to be asleep for at least an hour. Plug it in and let it charge all the way up to 100% and let it go until it actually stops charging on its own. And that should reset the calculations, and we will see on the other side, do we see an improvement over that 13.5% degradation. So with that, I think I need to plug in, but I don't want it to sit at 100% for too long because that's not good on the battery. So it's sitting here right now, it's 9:15 p.m. and I'm gonna plug it in. I'm gonna see how long it's gonna take. I'm gonna try and time it so it finishes somewhere around when I'm gonna leave for work, which is around 7:30 tomorrow morning. So let's plug it in and see where we're at. Okay, we're all plugged in. We're charging right now at a full, I guess it should be ramping up to 48 amps. It should be about 11 kilowatts. It says we've got about 7 hours and 15 minutes remaining, which means we're going to get done somewhere around 4. I do have it set for a total of 100%. I'm gonna actually back this charging percentage off, say 36 amps. What's that say? It says 8 hours, 9 hours from now. So that should get us charging to 100 around 6:15. Okay, with that, I should have about 100% charge and give it a little bit of extra to get all the way to the very, very top, and get to absolutely 100% right around within an hour of when I need to leave for work, so I don't have to let it sit at 100% for very long. That's my goal. So I'll check in when we are at 100% and it's the morning, and we'll see where the numbers shake out. All right, it's the next morning and we are at 100%. Let's see what we have when we tap the percentage button and see what it says for miles, and then we will check the Sexy Button app and see if our degradation went down at all. So you're gonna see it real time with me. All right, here we go. 281 miles. That does not appear to be any higher than it was before. Okay, well, I guess let's check the degradation. Well, as you can see, now my degradation went up to 13.7 something. I guess I should have expected that the result when resetting the BMS could have gone in either direction, but I was kind of really expecting it to go in a better direction because everyone's saying, it's just off, you got to reset your BMS. But it actually got worse. We're at 13.73 is what I think it was. So there you go. Well, it's time for round 2 of the battery calibration. Took me about 2 weeks actually to run the battery down to below 10% again. Everything I read online says you got to do this twice in a row. So that's what I did. I'm sitting here at 4%. and I've just set my battery to do a one-time charge up to 100%, and I need to let it charge all the way to 100% and then let it sit at 100% for about 2 to 3 hours. So once I get it plugged in, I'm going to figure out about what time I'm going to get up in the morning and do some things and try and get it to finish up 2 to 3 hours before that, because I really don't want it to sit around a terribly long time. So we'll see what comes out the other end and see if our range is any better than it was before we started. Well, it's the next morning. I let my car charge up to 100% per the recommendations and let it sit at 100% for 2 to 3 hours. It's been about 3 hours. So how did things shake out? Did things get any better after the second run? Well, let's take a look. Okay, let's check out what it says now after the second run. 280, lost another mile. So where does that put my overall degradation? As you can see, we actually went the other direction a little bit again, and that could just be because I've been driving it 2 weeks. We now have a degradation of 14.04%. So my 281 miles at 100% is now 280 miles. So I was kind of hoping that it would go the other direction, but it didn't. But this process is to make sure that you are getting the accurate reading from your battery's BMS system, and that it reads the right amount on the screen. And I guess the right amount was a little less miles than I thought I actually was getting. But this isn't the last test that we can do. The last test involves going into service mode and running a battery health test, and I'll be doing that next. But in order to do that, I got to drive this car for a while and get the battery back down to a low state, because if I understand how the test works, it's going to bring the battery way down on its own and then recharge back up, and then I'll get an indication on the screen, and that takes about 24 hours. So check in on the next step later down the road. Okay, the saga continues. This is taking many weeks to get accomplished, but the next thing I want to do to test my battery and not rely on the apps is to use a feature within service mode of the vehicle. And I can do that by going into the service mode and tapping high voltage, and I think high voltage system. And we can see that we have a battery health measurement, and right now the battery health measurement is nothing. So I'm going to go ahead and run this battery health test. So if I select that, it's going to tell me that it's going to take up to about 24 hours to run this. So you need to make sure, if you want to do this yourself, that you plan enough time. I think I need to be plugged in, and I also need to be starting at a relatively low state of charge, and I'm starting at 5%. Also means that it also says that I need to be plugged into an AC power source of more than 6 kilowatts, which I am, and that my state of charge max is less than 50%, and I'm well below that. And the reason why I want to be as low as possible, because I believe this test will drain the battery all the way down to basically zero and then take it back up. So no sense burning electrons that I don't need to burn. So let's go ahead and hit the run. And it says that I need to hold the right turn signal in the active position and press down on the brake. Okay, right turn signal. Hold it for 8 seconds. All right, this operation will unlock the gateway. It's unlocked. Gateway will be locked again in 89 minutes. So let's go ahead and hit run health test. Health test initiated. I guess I get out of the vehicle and I come back in a day and see what happens. Well, it hasn't been quite 24 hours. I've been watching my Tessie app, and it did completely deplete down to about 2%, and then it sat there for a little while, and then it started charging back up to 100%. And it looks like that it finished that around 4 o'clock in the morning, and right now it is closer to 11 o'clock in the morning, so it's definitely done, I think. The car does not tell you when it's done. The app does not tell you when it's done. You just kind of have to guess, and I figured it had been sitting at 100% long enough, and I don't like having sitting at 100%, that I just thought, okay, I'm going to go in, I'm going to try it out, and as it turns out, it worked. And I'm sitting here with a battery health of 86.8%. So that it would be, if I do the math, a what? 13.2% degradation, which is kind of in line with some of the other apps that I've been using. Now, is that good? Is that bad? I'm sitting here with about 67,000 miles on this car. It's 4 years old. I don't know. You tell me. Is it bad? So that is how the health test works in the car. They do not recommend that you do this multiple times, as it does fully cycle the battery. But doing it every now and then, this is my first time doing it in 67,000 miles. So I thought I would give the Tesla app a try and see what it says. So yeah, 86.8%. Am I happy with that? Not really. But I guess it is what it is. So there you go. That's the battery health test.